Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 2 Kings, the 11th chapter. And in this chapter, we see the rise of, a demon, all right, otherwise known as Athaliah or Athaliah, which was a queen of Judah, right, who had a chance to rule temporarily by malicious means. Okay, so we witnessed in the 10th chapter, right, what ended up happening towards the end, the judgment that the Lord brought upon the house of Ahab via the hands of Jehu, right, who was anointed king. So he ends up slaying all the house of Ahab, but also ends up slaying, I think it was Ahaziah. Just let me see if I can, where are we? Yeah, I believe it was Ahaziah that he ended up slaying his house. And so at this point, you had Ahaziah here, who I believe Ahaziah's father was Joram, whose father was Jehoshaphat. Okay, so picking up in the 11th chapter, 2 Kings chapter 11 verse 1. And when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal. So this means Athaliah was the wife of Joram of the southern kingdom and the daughter of Jehoshaphat. Actually, no, Slakia. She wasn't the daughter of Jehoshaphat. She was just the wife of Joram. That would be kind of weird. So when she saw this, right, that Ahaziah was dead, it says she rose up and destroyed all the seed royal, because what does she want? If there was an heir to the throne, that would not fare well for her plans. But Jehoshaphat, the daughter of King Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons which were slain. And they hid him, even him and his nurse, in the bedchamber of from Athaliah, so that he was not slain. So while she was going around doing this execution, right, to eliminate all the heirs and so on, the sister of Ahaziah, right, ended up, taking Joash here, hiding him, like that one child hid him with his nurse, right, because you would typically have, a nurse that would take care of you as a baby, all that good stuff, right? Back then, it wasn't like the mother had to do every single thing by themselves. So anyway, Joash is hidden away and, just narrowly escapes this ill-fated consequence of having Athaliah as a grandmother. And he was with her, hid in the house of the Lord Yahweh 6 years. And Athaliah did reign over the land. So for 6 years, you had Athaliah reigning over, here would be Judah. Joash was hidden for 6 years in the temple. And the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers of hundreds with the captains and the guard, and brought them to him into the house of the Lord Yahweh. So the rulers of hundreds, right, the captains, the chiefs, the top ones, he brought them together, right, into the temple, and made a covenant with them, and took an oath of them in the house of the Lord Yahweh, and shewed them the king's son. So once again, you can imagine, right, at this point, everybody's just like, you can't imagine people are loving the rule of Athaliah here, right? So here, having seen Joash, they're like, well, what's going on here? Come to find out, he was that one heir that was stashed away, and he's here. He's about 7 years old or so. And he commanded them, saying, "This is that so they basically swore like loyalty, to, in this case, and with as part of that covenant, not only to maybe like say like the king, right, but also to whatever it was that Jehoiada was about to charge them to do. And he commanded them, saying, "This is the thing that ye shall do. A third part of you that enter in on the Sabbath shall even be keepers of the watch of the king's house." And enter in meaning like those that are coming on duty. You're going to be, watching the king's house. And the third part shall be at the gate of Sur, and a third part at the gate behind the guard. So shall ye keep watch of the house, that it be not broken down. So there was a certain allotment of the guards that were to guard, as it says here, the king's house, and on different parts. And 2 parts of all you that go forth on the Sabbath, even they shall keep watch of the house of the Lord about the king. So those that are coming in on duty, those that are going off duty, you're going to be keeping watch. You're going to be, some of you keeping watch of the king's house, some of you are keeping watch of the temple to protect the king. And ye shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapons in his hand. And he that cometh within the ranges, let him be slain. And be ye with the king as he goeth out, and as he cometh in. So talk about Secret Service. But yeah, so this was like extreme lockdown and protection, because Jehoiada knew and understood that this was a very, very dangerous thing for Athaliah, and for anybody really that supported her at that time, because having realized that there is an actual heir, to the throne, would be very, like, they would basically seek him out, and try to eliminate him. And the captains over the hundreds did according to all things that Jehoiada the priest commanded. And they took every man his men that were come in on the Sabbath with them that should go out on the Sabbath, and came to Jehoiada the priest. And to the captains over hundreds did the priest give King David spears and shields that were in the temple of the Lord Yahweh. And the guard stood, every man with his weapons in his hand, round about the king, from the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar and the temple. So everywhere where around the king, there was locked down tight. And he brought forth the king's son, and put the crown upon him, and gave him the testimony. And in here, the testimony would be like the law. And they made him king, and anointed him, and they clapped their hands and said, "God save the king." So this was like a coronation of Joash here, as I think now he's about 7 years or so, to make him king. And when Athaliah heard the noise of the guard and the people, she came to the people into the temple of the Lord. So you can imagine, big back, maybe she's not big back, but maybe she is, who knows, right? She's pulling up over there, all proud and shit, like, what the hell is going on over here? And when she looked, behold, the king stood by a pillar, as the manner was, and the princes and the trumpeters are by the king, and all the people of the land rejoiced and blew with trumpets. And Athaliah rent her clothes and cried, "Treason, treason!" So when she saw that, she was like, you can imagine for a split second, she's probably like shocked for us. Like, she's seen a ghost, like, what the hell? She made sure every one of them was dead, And now she's seen this, and she's seen them, and she's like, no, this can't be real. She starts losing it. She starts bugging out. But Jehoiada the priest commanded the captains of the hundreds, the officers of the host, and said unto them, "Have her forth without the ranges, and him that followeth her with the sword, or him that followeth her, kill with the sword." So any of her followers, take them out and take her back up out of here. And because, well, let's continue reading. It says, "For the priest had said, let her not be slain in the house of the Lord." Because remember, she came in, and then she witnessed this, and then started to cry, "Treason, treason." So he said, basically, apprehend her and take her out from here, and then put her to death, and all the people that follow her as well. And they laid hands on her, and she went by the way by the which the horses came into the king's house, and there was she slain. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord Yahweh and the king and the people, that they should be the Lord's people between the king also and the people. So this was a covenant, an agreement witnessed by everybody, agreed to by the king and by the people, that they should all be the Lord's people and serve him. And all the people of the land went into the house of Baal and brake it down. His altars and his images brake they in pieces thoroughly, and slew Matan, the priest of Baal, before the altars. And the priest appointed officers over the house of the Lord Yahweh. So they once they took Athaliah out of there, they started to clean house, basically. Got all that. Because remember, Jehu had what was it? He slew the servants of Baal, but he didn't go all the way with it, And so there were still, remnants here. There were still high places set up. There were still idols and stuff. And so continuing on, and then particularly in Judah as well. So here, as Joash has been made king, the people have agreed to be the Lord's people. It would make sense that they would go around getting rid of these idolatrous things. And he took the rulers over hundreds, and the captains, and the guard, and all the people of the land, and they brought down the king from the house of the Lord Yahweh, and came by the way of the gate of the guard to the king's house. And he sat on the throne of the kings. And all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was in quiet, meaning it was peaceful finally. And they slew Athaliah with the sword beside the king's house. And this is just a recollection of what we read up above. 7 years old was Jehoash, in other words, Joash, when he began to reign. And that's the end of the book of 2 Kings, the 11th chapter. So we see here this, now a lot happened in here, right? Though it was comprised into about 21 chapters, 21 verses. This went from about a 7-year span, and it shows you how the Lord, has many ways of preservation. Whatever the Lord wills is what's going to happen. Even if the chances seem so slim, right? It's like, had the sister of Ahaziah, right, Jehoshaphat, not done what she did, there would be no heir. And then who knows what would have happened, leaving Athaliah to rule over the land. Anyway, with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha, Kodesh. Until next time, Shalom.